From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is U.S. Farm Report.
Welcome to U.S. Farm Report. I'm Tyne Morgan, and here's what we're working on for you over the next 60 minutes. Brazil is back in business for U.S. beef.
I think that short term here, probably market impact is limited.
Our friends at Pro Farmers say it's more bullish long term. USDA's report could pack a major punch next week.
There's room for big surprises.
What if USDA does raise yield? That's our Farm Journal report. In Baxter Black, it's the rule of 90-10 when it comes to hard work. And in John's world,
it's August, not my favorite month.
U.S. Farm Report, brought to you by the dependable, long-lasting Chevy Silverado.
Now for the market-related news. Americans ate more protein per person last year than they did in 40 years. However, demand could hit a wall with production outpacing buyers' needs. A new report from Rabobank shows while protein producers are seeing record growth in demand right now, that growth could taper off in the next couple years. Rabobank says prices over the next few years are expected to fall. That's as the protein market undergoes massive expansion. Protein sector is expected to grow at a rate of 2.5% annually. Brazilian beef hasn't been allowed into the U.S. since 1999, and U.S. product to Brazil was banned in 2003 after the BSE scare. But just this week, the USDA announcing it's reached an agreement with Brazil's Ministry of Agriculture to allow market access for beef and beef products. Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack says the U.S. welcomes the news as it's a market that offers excellent long-term potential. Pro Farmers' Brian Grady says the impact may not be felt until later down the road, as near-term implications could be minimal.
I think that short term here, probably market impact is limited, to be honest with you. It's more of a news story in terms of that we finally, after all these years of Brazil dealing with their foot and mouth disease, the U.S. dealing with their the BSE way back in 2003, we finally reached the trade agreement there between Brazil and the United States.
USDA also determining Brazil's food safety system is up to par with U.S. standards, and Brazilian beef can now be imported into the U.S. But Grady says short term, those imports will remain low. More GMO wheat has been found in the Pacific Northwest. Washington state ag officials say unapproved GM wheat was found by a farmer in an unplanted field. Now, the farmer says there were 22 plants apparently resistant to glyphosate. Several Asian countries temporarily banned U.S. wheat imports after genetically modified wheat was found unexpectedly in a field on an Oregon farm in 2013. Now, Monsanto tells us USDA is in a fact-finding process to figure out how those plants got there, and Monsanto is providing technical support. Now, that unapproved wheat is already having a ripple effect on trade. Japan says it's halting all imports of Western white and feed wheat, but just from the Pacific coast. Shipments out of the Gulf are still okay. Japan is Asia's second largest wheat importer, and the U.S. supplies about 60% of the country's needs. USDA's latest crop progress report showing soybean conditions gained a point in the last week. 72% is good to excellent. Wisconsin leads the race with 88% good to excellent. And in corn, 76% is in that good to excellent category. That's unchanged from last week. However, it is a point higher in the excellent category. Also, USDA's crop progress report shows half of the nation's cotton crop is good to excellent. That's a decline of 2 points from last week. Farmers in Missouri were reminded this week there's still a lot of growing season left. A storm system dropped as much as 10 inches of rain east of Kansas City Sunday night. Check out these photos that we got from Adam Kastner of Carrollton, Missouri, Daniel Carpenter of Norburn, and Jeremy Stevens of Malta Bend. They said that storm system just kept building overnight, and the aftermath are corn and soybean fields suffocating from too much water. Now, the good news is the water is topping the creeks, not the Missouri River. So if water can retreat quickly, the corn should be fine, but some of the beans are still setting in as much as 2 feet of water. Wow, what a sight. Well, those are the headlines. Meteorologist Cindy Clausen is in for Mike Hoffman this week. Cindy, those farmers in Missouri are waving their white flag at the moment. No more rain.
Yeah, no kidding, Ty. There's been a lot of rain in some spots, but as you can see from the U.S. Drought Monitor, many areas are really dealing with some very dry conditions. That includes the southeast. We're really watching the dryness in the northeast, also in parts of the northern plains, and of course it's been dry out in the west. Take a look over the past 4 weeks or so, and you can really see how that drought has intensified in the southeast and has really expanded in the northeast and into the northern plain states. And we've even seen that drought expanding a little bit into the Four Corners region as well. Here's a look at what we expect for this week. Now we're going to start off on a dry note in the northeastern United States. We'll have a frontal boundary that's going to be heading through parts of the plains, and we'll still see some unsettled weather in the southeast. That may be good news, although I think a lot of it may be hit and miss. Still dealing with very hot conditions in much of the south central and the southwestern United States. As we head into Wednesday, we will be seeing those hot conditions in much of the plain states. We'll see a front moving through the Great Lakes, trailing through parts of the plain states and upper Midwest, and still some of that unsettled weather, kind of hit and miss stuff in the southeastern United States. Heading over towards Friday, looks like more rain for those folks in Missouri there. Showers and thunderstorms. Again, this is going to be more hit and miss type of stuff in the southeastern United States, but showers and thunderstorms in the Great Lakes and into the northeast along that frontal boundary. Still some pretty hot temperatures in much of the west. We'll have more weather coming up in the next half hour. Tyne?
All right, thanks, Cindy. When we come back, we'll preview USDA's next big report coming up. Bill Biederman and Mike North, they join me next.
Welcome. Hi. Today we're going to be comparing the roll-formed high-strength steel bed of the Chevy Silverado to the aluminum bed of this competitor's truck. Nice. Want to grab that empty toolbox for me? Let's start here with the aluminum bed.
That's a big hole.
Huge.
We got Swiss cheese for a truck here. I'm curious to see if that will do the same thing with the Chevy.
Well, let's find out. Same spot, same angle, same empty toolbox.
Took it way better.
The steel held up.
Silverado proved it is the toughest truck here.
Join Drovers and Dr. Dan Thompson for our 3rd annual Feedlot Cowboy College on September 7th and 8th in Dodge City, Kansas. This 2-day seminar, led by respected and knowledgeable industry experts, is filled with timely information for feedlot operators. Topics include animal health, low-stress animal handling, technology, and how to improve animal welfare. Attendance will also qualify you as BQA certified. For more information, visit droverscowboycollege.com.
Attention homeowners. Quicken Loans has some very important information regarding the U.S. government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. Nearly 3 million homeowners have already taken advantage of this fantastic money-saving program. But there are so many more of you who could be saving hundreds of dollars every month on your mortgage. Quicken Loans is here to help you save money. Why Quicken Loans? The home loan experts at Quicken Loans fully understand the HARP guidelines. We'll work with you to understand your specific circumstances and strive to find the financial solution that's best for you. Then we'll guide you through each step of the mortgage refinance process to make sure that it's both simple and easy. If you weren't HARP eligible in the past, new guidelines could mean that now you are. Give us a call and we'll give you a Quicken Loans mortgage review. It's simple and easy. To learn more about this money-saving U.S. government program, call Quicken Loans today or go to quickenloans.com for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze.
Welcome back to U.S. Farm Report on the Marketing Roundtable. With me this week, we have Mike North of Commodity Risk Management Group and Bill Biederman of Allendale. And my gosh, so much hype this year around the markets, and now this next USDA report, it could be huge. But Mike, this week, it was not pretty for those corn prices. I mean, we almost put in a new recent low.
We did. We came within a penny of the 2014 low of 318 that was set on September 30th that year. And that's a big deal because we've talked about this price for a long time. On the heels of a drought market, it often takes us about 4 years to find a low. To do that effectively, we need to take out that 318 low. So it was a big week in that regard.
Bill, do you think we can take out that 318 low?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's much chance that we won't. So, you know, I mean, we've got the yields that are going to be coming out here in the next few weeks. We got the Pro Farmer Tour. We'll get a good physical look at it. We got the Allendale survey. We'll get a good number on it. We're going to be, I think, shocked at how good this could be. And we're really putting ourselves into the same arena as we were back in the early 80s, 82 through 86. If you look at statistics, that's the closest match to where we're at. Now we had reserve program then, so we kept building inventories, whereas here it's more free market. So we'll get rid of these inventories, and the good news with that is we're going to go low enough to buy huge demand.
I mean, I know there is some benefits of going that low on the demand side, but it just seems like, okay, maybe we were too far done to one side and maybe we were too far done to the downside now, Mike.
Welcome to the marketplace. That is what we do. We always go farther than you think we should or could.
Yeah.
And the reality of that is 318 is an old low. It to me looks like an easy number to take out. The big question is can $3 corn hold? Can we put a 2 in front of corn this year? And I think that's a possibility under the right circumstances.
How?
You get enough momentum as you take out an old historic low, you hit a bunch of stops in the marketplace, you get a lot of people starting to get really bearish. Welcome to USDA reports, crop tours, etc. You get the hype machine moving and all the big sugar plum type yields coming out into the conversation, and suddenly you create a case for massive balance sheets and much lower prices.
And the worst part is that all of that could be happening right when farmers have got to clean out their bins to get room for the new crop. So it could be a rough way to maneuver through this. I think farmers are going to use the government loan program again.
Looking next week, all right, we have this big USDA report. I know everyone has these yield numbers floating around, but what do you think USDA does next week with yield?
My opinion is that they're going to come in right around 48 bushel on beans. That's a strong, huge yield, but it's probably going to get bigger. And then on the corn, I'm guessing somewhere around 172, 171 to 172, maybe 72.4 on the top end. But that would be aggressive on USDA.
Yeah, so what do you think USDA is going to come out with?
Well, given their track record this year, I wouldn't be shocked by a big move on the corn yield. Beans is still too early just because we haven't developed far enough along to give that full picture, but I agree with Bill's assessment. I think it's still going to be a couple bushels higher on beans. Corn, they could run 6 bushels up on this thing, and that would be a 174 from where they're at.
No.
It's a possibility. A lot of the trades already moved to numbers that or higher. So, end of day, I don't expect them to do that, but given their track record, that wouldn't shock me if they made a big adjustment going into this report, given all of the data that we've seen so far.
Well, obviously that big of an adjustment, Bill, would be bearish, right? I mean, that's going to be bearish. But if we do see maybe a 171, 172, considering that some of the trades already trading that number, is that bearish or bullish on Friday?
Well, it's definitely bearish until we start to consume that inventory. I mean, it's going to be a thing, but it doesn't have to be a slam dunk bearish. It could be just a quick short-term down and we come back up in trade range. Bottom line is the market's going to get to a level where it says, hey, I need some grain. I'm going to pop at 10 cents. I'm going to get 10 trucks to move, and then I'm going to back it back off. And that's a distribution phase, and it's the final phase of a bear market before you move into what could happen down the road.
But short term, it seems like after this USDA report next week, it could get ugly, Mike.
Well, and frankly, as we move into the balance of August, if I'm a producer who's sitting, on a lot of unsold corn going towards harvest, the reality is I would rather get it over sooner than later. So if it's going to be ugly, let's have it be ugly in August, not in October when my trucks are coming out of the field looking to put bushels somewhere. The bottom line is markets are always violent before they turn. It's true at the top, it's true at the bottom, and I believe we're going to see some prices that not too many people like. But bottom line is that is an ordinary cycle. It's been going on forever, and it's not likely going to be different this time.
And the greatest thing about what you just said, it's most violent at the top and the bottom. That's where your most opportunities exist.
Correct.
For both sides.
All right, well, you guys have been talking about demand, so what does that demand picture look like moving forward? We're going to talk about that when we come back on U.S. Farm Report.
Are you living with slow internet at home? Or maybe no internet at all? Then you need HughesNet Gen 4, high-speed satellite internet. Whether you live out of town or way out of town, HughesNet is available wherever you call home. So you can live where you love and enjoy a great internet connection too. HughesNet features smart technologies to make your online experience better than ever. So go ahead, shop for deals. Learn new things. share little moments, and stay in touch. Connect to what matters most with HughesNet.
Right now is the perfect time to finally get high-speed internet where you live. HughesNet, America's #1 choice for satellite internet. Call now. For a limited time, standard installation is free. For special offers only in your area, text FAST to 99000.
What's the best way to protect your home and family when storms and winds knock out your electricity? The answer is a home standby generator from Generac. It automatically supplies power to your home within seconds of a power outage. To get our best deal ever, go to Generac.com and download this certificate worth $995. Use it when you purchase a Generac home standby generator to get our 10-year ultimate warranty for free. That's a $995 value free, but you must claim your certificate now. Go to Generac.com or call 1-800-394-1563.
It's one of the best investments I've ever made in this house.
It gives you security, it's reliable.
That gives you that feeling of security that, to me, is priceless.
Claim your $995 certificate now at Generac.com.
Welcome back to U.S. Farm Report. Okay, Bill, to build on what we were talking about right before, do you think that we put a harvest low in possibly early if we wipe out that 318 mark?
Yes, but then I think you're going sideways through the winter. So I think, but demand I think is going to buy out. I don't know why anybody that I have ever worked with in the end user market, I don't see why they wouldn't step up and buy 12 months out ahead, which is very unusual. 6 months is aggressive. But I think they're going to buy 12 months out ahead, and why not even more? I mean, it's going to go back to the Southwest Airlines hedge, you know? It's a 3-year opportunity. I mean, if we have any bed crops at all around the world in the next 3 years, this will be a great hedge to put on, is buy this grain.
All right. Mike, on the demand side, USDA numbers this week, it looked like we are buying some demand with these lower prices. So there is a little good coming out of this right now.
Oh, absolutely. But if I'm a buyer, I have a lot of different things to consider, right? Number one, if I'm looking at feed options, especially in the starch category, I've got a lot of wheat, and you're seeing that move into rations in different parts of the country. Corn certainly is a great value down at these levels, no question about that. Building off of Bill's comments, the carry in the market is such that I'm probably not going to launch right out into the deferred periods to buy a whole lot of grain because I'm staring at $3.60 to $3.70 prices, whereas spot I'm looking at something closer to $3, $3.20 right now. End of day, you know, we're in a market that I think will bring some speculators back in. They're going to look at the charts. We've spent 60% of our time from $3 to $4.50 in the last 10 years, and they're going to see that $3 threshold in the same eyes as a grain buyer and think to themselves, hey, this is an opportunity I need to take advantage of. So they'll step in and pick up some corn. I agree. I think we've got an opportunity to kind of move higher, but I don't think it's going to be this explosive rally unless we have some sort of a harvest issue.
When you look at the most similar years, the ranges we traded was $1.86 to about $2.63, and we stayed there for almost 2 years. Wow. But if you inflate that and bring it into today's market, you're looking at $2.92 to $3.15 for the low end. I think that's going to be a pretty realistic value. Now you can trade a little bit lower or higher than that, but that I think is fair value. The beans, I think, have a very serious obstacle to get over because I think there's going to be more double crop beans, way more, because they got the wheat harvest off a week early, and I mean there's beans everywhere now, and I think the yield is going to continue to do well. I think. I mean they're huge, and maybe it's all growth and not bean. I don't know, but I think the beans could be a real surpriser. And then the other thing is, look at where beans are valued relative to corn. I mean, if you take $3.50 corn times a 2.5 ratio, we've got a long ways to go down.
Yeah, in beans, we're still $1 off of the low that we saw back in 2013 or 2014.
Even the spring. This spring we had $8.65 November soybeans, and today we're trading them $1 north of that. That is an easy break for this market if yield continues to gain momentum.
Another price that isn't too friendly to look at right now, milk prices. I mean, where do you see us going from here when we do consider everything that's going in on the grain side of the ledger?
So we have this ongoing anomaly, so to speak, in our block and barrel trade at the exchange. That's given some lift to milk prices on the front end, but you're starting to see some discounting to that.
Right.
Recent days, milk prices have been more steady, while we've seen some pretty significant moves in block and barrel. As we move forward, though, we've clearly sent a signal to the U.S. farmer to send more milk to town, produce more milk. That's going to put cows in the barn, milk in the tank, and ultimately more cheese through the vat, butter through the churn, and into warehouses, because at these prices, we are not competitive in the world space. In fact, we attract imports, and ultimately that sends prices lower. And it may take a few months to get there, but that's the way things are looking right now.
All right, we want to get your closing thoughts. We're going to do that when we come back on U.S. Farm Report, so don't go anywhere.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay. Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deals.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Call 800-747-2351, 800-747-2351.
Attention homeowners. Taking a bath in your high-wall tub is an accident waiting to happen. But now, you can turn your existing tub or shower into a safe, easy entry tub in just one day. With no tub walls to climb over, just open the door and walk right in. And for a limited time, save $1,500. And be one of the first 100 callers to get a free gift with purchase.
Call 1-800-498-0899. That's 1-800-498-0899.
Leaky plastic sprayers shoot water everywhere, and power washers are bulky and a pain to set up. Introducing the Mighty Blaster Fireman's Nozzle, the first ever household sprayer with the power and precision of a real fireman's nozzle. Mighty Blaster has 50% more power, so you can blast away dirt, leaves, and twigs from sidewalks and driveways, even these large stones. Adjusting Mighty Blaster is simple, effortlessly from a fine mist all the way to the most powerful blast. And it's built to last, featuring aircraft-grade aluminum and quality stainless steel. A power washer can cost hundreds, but today get the Mighty Blaster Fireman's Nozzle for just $19.99. And we're not done yet. You can double your order. That's right, get 2 Mighty Blasters. You can also get a 25-foot Pocket Hose Ultra, the expanding hose that's now 3 times stronger. You can get it all for $19.99. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-580-0155. But hurry, call now and get the Mighty Blaster special offer with all of today's orders. So call 1-800-580-0155.
Welcome back to Markets Now. Bill Biederman, we'll start with you. What thoughts do you want to leave us with this week?
Get your brain to think instead of production manager, inventory manager. And how do I manage assets? And if you were a fund manager, you'd be buying wheat first because wheat's cheap enough to already have feed demand. Then you'd be owning corn, so you'll want to re-own corn that you sell. And the beans, I'd be selling the crud out of the beans. The beans still got $1 to go down relative to corn.
All right, Mike?
I'm in agreement with that. So to make that come together, I think you need to look at what your storage capacity is right now, look at the carries in the market, have an earnest conversation with yourself about what you're going to need in terms of cash flow, and then start staging your sales further out in time. Take advantage of those carries, defend that with some call strategies. And if you're sitting wide open on stuff, buy some cheap puts. Make sure you're not just overly bullish at these levels just yet.
All right, August could be an ugly month. We've been talking about it. John Phipps comments on that when we come back.
Receive a free trial of the Daily Market Letter and gain knowledge about current market conditions from the professionals at Bauer Trading. View the markets like never before. Go to BauerTrading.com.
Are you paying too much for your cable or satellite TV? The U.S. government passed a bill mandating free over-the-air digital transmission of all broadcast network television channels. That means with the new TV Freeway digital antenna, you can get free HD programming from your favorite broadcast networks 24/7 without a bill. You just plug it into the back of your TV and start watching all of your favorite broadcast programs for free. There are no contracts to sign, no hidden fees, and no monthly fees. Just free HD broadcast TV. Take it with you anywhere. Call or go online now to get your TV Freeway stick for the incredibly low price of only $14.99. But wait, call or click now and you can get a second TV Freeway stick for a second TV. Just pay a separate fee, but you have to order right now.
Call 1-800-316-1198 to get your TV Freeway. Call now or go to tvfreeway.com. So call 1-800-316-1198. Call now.
The IRS garnished my paycheck.
We owed the IRS $30,000.
The IRS showed up at my work.
The IRS will stop at nothing to collect the money you owe. They will levy your paycheck, seize your assets, and can even put you in jail.
We were afraid and didn't know what to do, so we called Tax Help Today, and they got us help. Now we don't have any payments to the IRS.
I called Tax Help Today for their free consultation. They were able to lower my debt with the IRS.
Tax Help Today will help you get your life back on track. Our tax professionals will fight for the best deal possible. Don't take the IRS on alone.
My wage garnishment was lifted, and now I can pay my rent.
When you call, you will receive a free and private consultation with a tax professional. You have rights. Let the tax professionals with Tax Help Today get you the peace of mind you deserve. Call Tax Help Today at 800-908-4074 for a free consultation. 800-908-4074. That number is 800-908-4074 for Tax Help.
Well, it's been a roller coaster year so far in 2016, but I don't really have to tell many of you that. And as we head into August, things could get even more interesting. Here's John Phipps.
Well, we're into August. Last spring in Top Producer magazine, I suggested this month could be a difficult one for many of us in agriculture for some obvious and some hidden reasons. First of all, as our market gurus have pointed out for several weeks, we're running out of time to kill this crop. By now, many of you will have done some yield checks. The size of the U.S. crop may be unknown, but relatively few of us are looking at truly dismal fields. Speaking of which, our crops are entering into a particularly unattractive phase as well. The passage into maturity is essentially the act of dying, and weed escapes, standability problems, and population hiccups become impossible to ignore. And this makes our windshield tours less fun than early in the growing season, and it adds to our urge to erase this year's mistakes with the combine. In addition, while noting that this crop is rushing to maturity, few of us have truly grasped how relentlessly warm the summer has been. According to Mike, this unusual heat should continue through what could be a record fast harvest. Given the weather so far this year, I've really been looking forward to some cooler days, or at least cooler nights. But perhaps the biggest mood setter for August will be our outlook shifting to the future. There are firmer estimates not just for this year's production, but prices. Meanwhile, planning for 2017 has to begin in an economic atmosphere that is not very encouraging. This litany of hassles is not just a complaint list, but a reminder to myself. These challenges and burdens are essentially how I make a living. Sure, it may seem like it's about growing stuff people want to buy, but when you get down to it, it's really about enduring times just like this. Being a farmer is basically getting through August, year after year.
Thanks, John. And as he said, August is a key month, and USDA's report next week could spur prices to soar or make prices flop. That's our Farm Journal report after the break.
U.S. Farm Report is produced and distributed by Farm Journal Broadcast. From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is U.S. Farm Report.
Welcome back to U.S. Farm Report this weekend. We have much more ahead. USDA's report could be a major market mover. Our Farm Journal report explores the possible outcomes and what factors that could weigh in. If you don't like either presidential candidate this year, well, there may be another choice. And Baxter says there's a common rule when it comes to those hard workers out there. He explains when we head out west. Now for the headlines, it was a major political shakeup in wheat country to kick off what will be an interesting election season, and many in the Kansas farming community are celebrating. Republican challenger Roger Marshall defeated incumbent Tim Huelskamp Tuesday in the Kansas state primary. Now, Marshall won with 58% of the vote. You may remember Huelskamp was kicked off the Republican-controlled House Ag Committee. Marshall used that as a campaign tool, claiming Huelskamp was too busy clashing with the House GOP leaders instead of getting things done.
I certainly hope that I can be as strong as an advocate for pro-life and Second Amendment as Tim has had, but probably beyond that, I want to say that I think I can reach across the aisle, down the aisle. I want to work with people.
Now, before Huelskamp, now Senator Jerry Moran, Pat Roberts, and Bob Dole all held that post.
We are creating a different food culture at McDonald's.
McDonald's is changing up its menu, and the fast food chain says it's all to woo health-focused eaters. McDonald's announcing its goal of sourcing chicken raised without antibiotics has been accomplished a year early. But the chain says it's also removing artificial preservatives from its chicken nuggets, breakfast sausage patties, and egg products. And hamburger buns, well, those are also getting a makeover. Starting this month, the bread won't contain high fructose corn syrup.
In total, these changes, including the removal of artificial preservatives from several menu items, meeting our antibiotics goal early, removing high fructose corn syrup from our buns, will impact nearly half of the food on our menu.
He says the earliest change will be to the bun recipe, which will be implemented this month. Bayer is losing its battle with EPA over Belt and now having to pull it from shelves. The company lost an appeal of the registration status for the product. Now, you may remember the EPA pulled the conditional registration in February for the product. Bayer tried to get a reversal by EPA's appeals board, but the action failed. Distributors and retailers will be allowed to sell its remaining Belt inventories. Well, it's official. The president signed the federal GMO labeling bill into law last Friday. It preempts Vermont's law that was in effect since July 1st, and the state's attorney general says it won't fight the national standard. USDA now has 2 years to write the rules and implement the statute. It's a highly debated law, as product disclosure must now be done one of 3 ways: on the package, USDA designed symbol, or via a QR code. But critics say consumers won't use the QR code. Recent rains are helping relieve some of the drought-stressed pains in areas of Ohio, Michigan, and the Northeast. Now take a look at this drought monitor. The abnormally dry area in Ohio, well, that improved 5 points. But the moderate drought, that's the brown color there, it expanded 9 points this week. And in Michigan, moderate drought is 3 points better this week. Now the Southeast, they could use some rain, with extreme and severe conditions spreading a point. And look at the West. Now it's still very dry in California, but as a whole, the most severe levels of drought conditions, those are half of what we saw this time last year. Farmers are feeling the squeeze from lower grain and livestock prices, but input costs are also on their way down. USDA's NASS office says farmers spent $362.8 billion on ag production in 2015. That's a drop of almost 9% from 2014. NASS says both animal feed and farm services dropped 8.2%. All right, those are the headlines. Let's check back in with Cindy Clausen for a longer range look at weather. Cindy?
Thanks, Tyne. Well, the big story for a lot of folks has been the heat over the past couple of weeks, and it looks like that's going to be the story again this week. Let's take a look at the jet stream. We're going to start off a little bit cooler with a storm system in the Pacific Northwest and in the far northeast, but watch how the jet stream builds a ridge back into much of the country. So we are going to be looking at, many of us, with some very warm temperatures as we head through this week once again. And that is not good news for a lot of folks that are already extremely dry. As far as temperatures over the next 30 days, we are looking at some pretty warm temperatures in most of the eastern half of the country, and also in about the western quarter of the country. Should be a little closer to normal in much of the plains states. And then as far as precipitation over the next 30 days, a little wet in the upper Midwest and parts of the northern plains, of course the Four Corners region, northeast a little on the dry side, as well as the western Gulf Coast states and into the Pacific Northwest. Tyne?
Thanks, Cindy. Well, as we discussed in the Marketing Roundtable, one of the biggest report days of the year is next week. Last year, grain prices took a dive after the agency upped yield. In this Farm Journal report, national reporter Betsy Gibbon talks to traders about what they're expecting and how weather is playing a role in 2016.
2016 has been a challenge for many pockets of the Midwest.
Michigan's dry. We're very, very dry.
T-Storm weather meteorologist Mike Tenura says June was one of the warmer and drier on record in the U.S. Corn Belt. He says July is unofficially the 5th wettest of the last 121 years in the Corn Belt, with just over 5.5 inches of rain.
If we were to end up number 5 wettest, we would be in this purple line here. But you can see that the difference between number 5 right here and number 10 here is very small.
Regardless of rain, July rains pay back in bushels.
The historical data shows that it's very difficult for the U.S. corn yield to be below trend by a significant amount if you're among the wettest Julys on record in the Corn Belt. So that basically tells us that when July is unusually wet, it's very difficult to have a small corn crop.
Precipitation is just one component. Traders say they're looking at possible heat issues.
I'm not overly confident that we're going to see a bullish report on this August WASDE, but who knows? When you have a field-based survey versus statistical analysis, there's room for big surprises.
One of the issues that everybody's looking at, though, is going to be on the ears and the weight of the ears and the number of rows on the ears, because of the nighttime temperatures really haven't come down like everybody had really wished.
While trade guesses vary, some analysts say they are expecting USDA's 168 bushel forecast to rise.
So in terms of corn, we're certainly looking at a national yield north of 170 bushels per acre. The previous record was 171, so I think there's a good shot at this point that we exceed that.
Seifert says if the increase is marginal and below what the market is expecting, it could offer a chance for markets to balance out.
If 168 is where we end up on the corn crop, that opens up the door for some upside potential at some point. If it ends up getting a lot bigger and we're at a 171, 172, 173, new record yields for corn, that makes it a lot more difficult to rally from these current levels.
While a hike is expected, some say they're hearing a much larger increase.
I don't see 176, although there's a lot of speculation that we've been hearing lately. I think 172 at most on the corn, and I think maybe 48, possibly 50 on the beans. But again, we have to watch how these next few weeks are for the beans.
If USDA ups its yield forecast, some analysts say we could see a harvest low earlier than normal.
I think that this could be a year in which we put a bottom in these markets a little bit earlier than maybe we do in some normal years. If the market is thoroughly convinced, as it seems to be, that we've got record crops, it's going to be very quick to discount that news.
However, whether the report is feeding the bulls or the bears may all depend on ending stocks and demand.
On the other hand, if the number comes in at 174 or 175, where we blow away the previous record by a long shot, obviously that has very negative implications for the balance sheet. I mean, when you add that much to supply, we don't have the demand to offset that. I don't see how the USDA can come up with the demand to offset that large of an increase. And we'd be looking at a very large carryover that would justify some lower prices.
That's why farmers in drought states are hoping demand picks up and rain clouds come their way. Reporting for U.S. Farm Report, I'm Betsy Gibbon.
Thanks, Betsy. Well, Tenura says historically, seasonably wet Julys are rarely accompanied by poor corn crops. An exception was in 1993 when those heavy rains before and after July hurt yield. Well, up next, John Phipps.
The Libertarian Party. Is it time to give it a look?
The desire to bring real-world solutions to growers' difficult production challenges has led Bayer to introduce Credenz, our national brand of soybean seed, backed by years of research in smart genetics. Smart genetics is based on 4 concepts. State-of-the-art breeding allows Bayer to identify key traits and characteristics that bring value and protection to your soybean production situation. Next is herbicide-tolerant traits. The flexibility of multiple trait platforms allows growers to pick the most effective weed control system for their farm. Next is tailored varieties. With a robust portfolio, Credenz offers many solutions for difficult situations that you may experience, along with our best-in-class agronomic service team to support variety selection. And last is ongoing innovation. Bayer is continuing to invest in ways to improve yields and increase the profitability on your farm.
Are you being denied credit or paying high interest rates? Your credit score could be the problem. You need Credit Repair Pros, where we work directly with the credit bureaus and your creditors to challenge inaccurate information on your credit report to help you transform your credit score into the one you need to get the things you want, like a new car, a new home, even a new job. Call Credit Repair Pros to speak with a credit expert and find out how we'll work to improve your credit by helping remove inaccurate items from your credit reports. For over 15 years, we've helped thousands resolve their credit issues, and we've helped remove over 500,000 negative items, like charge-offs, late payments, foreclosures, even bankruptcies. So don't wait. Call Credit Repair Pros today and start rebuilding your future. Credit Repair Pros, where great credit begins. Call now for your free credit consultation. Credit experts are standing by.
Call 1-800-648-5633. That's 1-800-648-5633.
Welcome back. Well, what a year it's already been on the campaign trail, with some saying that there's no good option between the two frontrunners. But you may have a third option. John explains in customer support.
Your call is very important to us. Please hold.
Anthony Polkrabic, I hope that's correct, from Angus, Minnesota, is looking for a third option. I've been painfully watching the campaigns of the Republican and Democratic candidates. I started to look into a third option, the Libertarian candidates Johnson and Weld. But when it comes to finding out how they feel about agriculture, there isn't much to find. Would you be able to find out what the Johnson-Weld campaign feels about ag issues? Anthony, thank you for writing. Please send me an address. Let me start out by saying years ago I too was intrigued by libertarianism, but now feel it works better in theory than practice, because recent research has shown we are not the rational actors libertarianism expects us to be. It is important to understand the overriding principle of libertarianism. Individual rights and responsibility are paramount. Consider this statement from their very brief platform. We hold that all individuals have the right to exercise sole dominion over their own lives and have the right to live in whatever manner they choose, so long as they do not forcibly interfere with the equal right of others to live in whatever manner they choose. Now, if you Google their platform, you will notice that libertarians, including the current candidates, support very few government programs. Here is my brief summary from the campaign and party websites. For farm policies, essentially none, and when they don't say anything, you have to assume they would not support any farm policy, period. Immigration, free labor flow except for known criminals. Healthcare, free market forces. Environment, the candidates support protecting the environment. The platform relies on private suits against polluters. Energy, no subsidies, tax breaks or mandates. Taxes, a shift from income taxes to a consumption tax, such as a national sales tax. Foreign policy, minimal international intervention, especially boots on the ground. Economic safety nets like Social Security should be privatized and or handed over to charities. Finally, the Libertarian Party considers social issues like abortion, drug use, and prostitution to be individual choices. Now, this is an inexact distillation, so please check the party and candidate websites. Also, keep in mind the third-party curse. Even if you win the presidency, who will introduce your legislation in Congress? I hope this helps a little bit.
Now, if you have questions or comments for John, those can be sent by email or shoot us a note on Facebook or Twitter. Well, don't go anywhere. We need to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll head out west to visit Baxter Black.
The new DR trimmer mowers are here, and they're better than ever. The walk-behind DRs feature world-class engines and easy rolling wheels that let you trim along buildings, decks, and fence lines, mow tall grass and waist-high weeds without tangling, even cut brush up to 3 inches thick with optional cutting attachments. And now there's a full line of tow-behind DR trimmer mowers. Choose from models customized for riding mowers, ATVs, or compact tractors. So turn to DR and get the job done right.
Call 1-800-409-1854 for your free buyer's guide and DVD. We'll include a limited time offer to try a DR at home for a full year. Free shipping is now in effect, and payments start as low as $25 a month. Hurry, this offer won't last. 1-800-409-1854. Online at drtrimmer.com.
DR is professional power done right.
Are you living with slow internet at home? Or maybe no internet at all? Then you need HughesNet Gen 4, high-speed satellite internet. Whether you live out of town or way out of town, HughesNet is available wherever you call home. So you can live where you love and enjoy a great internet connection too. HughesNet features smart technologies to make your online experience better than ever. So go ahead, shop for deals. Learn new things. Share little moments. And stay in touch. Connect to what matters most with HughesNet.
Right now is the perfect time to finally get high-speed internet where you live. HughesNet, America's #1 choice for satellite internet. Call now. For a limited time, standard installation is free. For special offers only in your area, text FAST to 99000.
Well, if you're one of those who feels like you do all the work while others just skate by, Baxter Black feels your pain.
Everywhere I go, 10% of the people do 90% of the work. And they get to do it for nothing. And that's not the only perk. They're asked to donate to causes, contribute their cash and their time, to get up early, usually stay late, and always claim they don't mind. They serve on boards and commissions, participate in the potluck, bring snacks for the kindergartners. For hay rides, they furnish the truck. They take their turn on the fair board as deacons or soccer moms, jury duty or Salvation Army, ringing bells and gathering alms. They raise funds for endless projects. The food bank, the FFA, missions in faraway countries, Girl Scouts and the PTA. They call on the shut-ins, fight cancer, or maybe teach others to read. Through Rotary, Lions or Kiwanis, they work to fulfill a need. The 10% you can count on to sign up, to help and belong. Always ready and willing, they make our community strong. Well, they often don't get the glory or noticed by everyone, but they're easy to find at a party, cleaning up after it's done. Well, what causes man to serve his fellow man? At best, I discern not money, because sometimes the thanks is all they'll earn. And it can't be evolution where only the toughest survive, or lessons learned in a classroom. Compassion, see page 25. But it's there in certain people. Giving satisfies their needs. You can't find it in a brain scan, but you can see it in their deeds. No physical exam can spot it, and it won't show up on the chart. But if I had to guess what it is, I'd say it comes from the heart. So I'll just admit that we're lucky the 10% are right here, because without them, nothing would happen. And they do it all volunteer. Vol from the Greek meaning work like a horse, and untier meaning without pay. Can I sign you up? This is Baxter Black from out there.
Now you can hear more of Baxter's humor online at baxterblack.com. Well, the Olympics kicked off Friday, and you'll want to tune in next week because to celebrate, Andrew McCrae is taking us to the birthplace of the slam dunk. Seriously, that's next week on American Countryside. Well, when we come back this week, Tractor Tales with Machinery Pete.
Are you being denied credit or paying high interest rates? Your credit score could be the problem. You need Credit Repair Pros, where we work directly with the credit bureaus and your creditors to challenge inaccurate information on your credit report to help you transform your credit score into the one you need to get the things you want, like a new car, a new home, even a new job. Call Credit Repair Pros to speak with a credit expert and find out how we'll work to improve your credit by helping remove inaccurate items from your credit reports. For over 15 years, we've helped thousands resolve their credit issues, and we've helped remove over 500,000 negative items like charge-offs, late payments, foreclosures, even bankruptcies. So don't wait. Call Credit Repair Pros today and start rebuilding your future. Credit Repair Pros, where great credit begins. Call now for your free credit consultation. Credit experts are standing by.
Call 1-800-648-5633. That's 1-800-648-5633.
Attention women. Recent medical studies have shown that the use of talcum powder can cause ovarian cancer. If you or a loved one were diagnosed with ovarian cancer after using talcum powder, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. A 2013 jury verdict found that Johnson & Johnson, one of the largest manufacturers of talcum powder, had failed to warn consumers of the link between ovarian cancer and talc-based powders, and that their talcum products were responsible for causing ovarian cancer. If you used talcum powder and were later diagnosed with cancer, or if a loved one even died from ovarian cancer after using talcum powder, call right now. You may be owed significant compensation from the manufacturer. Call Nightline Legal to speak with an experienced attorney to determine if you may qualify. If we don't win, there is no fee. There are time deadlines to file a claim, so don't wait.
Call 1-800-842-1969. Again, that's 1-800-842-1969.
Time now for Tractor Tales with Machinery Pete, the most trusted name in farm equipment.
Welcome back to Tractor Tales, folks. This week we're off to Eastern Ohio to check out a Ford 3000. Owner and collector Wayne Giddings acquired this workhorse from a neighbor on a trade. And even though he's not partial to any particular make or model, he told us that he really likes having this one in his collection.
Well, that's not much faster. A 69, I think, Ford 3000. And power steering, live PTO and everything. And I have fooled with old tractors for several years. How I come about this Ford, neighbor boy out the road from me bought that. He wasn't happy with it after he bought it. But anyway, I had a 50 Massey Ferguson. And his grandfather had a Massey Ferguson 50. And he thought, his plans was that end of things, he would get that 50. Well, it didn't work that way. So I thought about it, and I thought, well, what the heck. So he come back a week or so later, and something about it, and I said, if you want it, come get it. About 2 weeks, he come driving in with that. It needs a lot of small things done to it, which I've done up till the brakes. I haven't got the brakes done yet, but he said nothing wrong with it, which you know how that is. And after I got it, well, I went down to Plow Bay with the other club over there, took it, and about halfway through, strange noise come in, so I went checking, bearing and generator. But this old stuff, you have that.
Thanks so much. Well, this week's Country Church Salute goes to the East Zion Church in Starbuck, Minnesota. Built in 1884 and 1885, it has a strong history. The 85-foot steeple was added in 1898, but in 1919, that church was struck by lightning and burned down. And in 1921, a new church home was built featuring these gorgeous stained glass windows, which helps represent its Norwegian heritage. They tell us they are very grateful for such a beautiful place to worship and proud of their legacy of Christian faith. Our thanks to Harvey and Diane Peterson for sharing their story. Well, if you have a Country Church salute you would like to share, you can just do that at the address on the screen. Stay with us. I have corn harvest photos to show. That's next.
This is Machinery Pete, inviting you to check out my new website, machinerypete.com. Offering farmers tens of thousands of used equipment listings to search, let Machinery Pete help you find and value your next piece of used equipment.
How's it going? Hi. Today we're going to be comparing the roll-formed high-strength steel bed of the Chevy Silverado to the aluminum bed of this competitor's truck. Awesome. All right, let him drop. Let's see how the aluminum bed of this truck held up.
Oh, that's a good-sized puncture.
That's all the way through, for sure.
Full-on crack here. If you're aluminum now, you're gonna go, ooh.
Let's check out the Silverado steel bed.
Wow.
Yeah, a couple dents.
I'd expect more dents.
Chevy clearly held up better than the Ford.
This is an important medical announcement regarding the prescription blood thinner Xarelto. If you or a loved one has been hospitalized or died from serious internal bleeding, including bleeding of the brain or gastrointestinal system after taking Xarelto, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Time may be limited to file a claim, so don't delay. Call Xarelto Relief Line now. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. Call Xarelto Relief Line now.
Please call 800-970-0580.
Join Drovers and Dr. Dan Thompson for our 3rd annual Feedlot Cowboy College on September 7th and 8th in Dodge City, Kansas. This 2-day seminar, led by respected and knowledgeable industry experts, is filled with timely information for feedlot operators. Topics include animal health, low-stress animal handling, technology, and how to improve animal welfare. Attendance will also qualify you as BQA certified. For more information, visit droverscowboycollege.com.
What would an extra $250 a month mean to you? Up to $3,000 a year in savings could be yours if you refinance your mortgage with the Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP, through Quicken Loans. Homeowners who refinance through HARP save an average of $250 a month. There's less paperwork, often no appraisal required, and will work to get you closed in 30 days or less. It's that simple. Call Quicken Loans today for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze.
Welcome back. Well, since Mike's on vacation, I'm going to do Crop Watch solo this week. We actually have harvest to talk about. Wheat harvest is underway in southeastern North Dakota. Brian is in Foreman and even had some help this week. Very cute helper, by the way. Brian tells us wheat is running in the upper 60 bushel per acre range, so yields are good, but prices not so much. He says they have been dry, but saw a few timely rains to keep the crops growing this year. Well, Twitter was full of photos this week showing that maybe some of this corn won't yield as much as what some people thought. Matthew is in Brooklyn, Iowa. He says what looked like the best corn crop he's ever seen, well, 2 weeks, it quickly turned to average. And Bob Nielsen, he's a Purdue Extension agronomist in Indiana. He says, yes, there are areas of drought stress in northeast Indiana. We can tell by the drought monitor. And I can't believe some are already harvesting corn. But Chad says it's time to put the hammer down. Harvest 2016 is underway and things are looking good. He says he's just getting started, but the field average is running about 10 to 20 bushels above normal. And if you have any photos or videos you would like to share, you could send those to us at mailbag@usfarmreport.com. Also, just drop us a note on Facebook or Twitter. For all of us at US Farm Report, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to join us again right here next week as we work to build on our tradition. Have a great weekend, everyone.
High strength steel for high strength dependability. Chevy Silverado, the official news gathering vehicle of US Farm Report. U.S. Farm Report is produced and distributed by Farm Journal Broadcast.